Welcome all of you to this explanation of E-Agriband watches, and today we are going to cover the Avenger Candlestick issue 4. If you have not read any of the issues before, then their links are given in the description below and proceed further. Before that, subscribe to this channel so that I can always bring you such videos. So let's start Do It. This story starts with String Race, which is also known as Dr. Ul, and he's currently on some mission for the Avengers. String tells us, I headed east and north from Ro in search of Toma's army. About 5 miles away, I found them, and in a few moments they pulled me over. Then we see the soldiers of the world surround the stringers. Then this team gives them a strong electric shock. Nothing more than a shock happens. Some of the soldiers stand back. Then the October Guard and the soldiers fight with each other. It is said that he has knocked down the commander, him in the string, in response to their attacks, and after the pier is removed, Streamy sees a block and tells us in what he was protecting. Happened exactly what we expected, a pressure blockhouse. And I assembled the power pack from the Tuma trends, and then it was blackheads. And Tuma's army is used to keep them on the surface and to get oxygen into their helmets. I checked it, and I got rid of any deficiencies. Then I turned on the power packs and put them where they work best. I put all the oxygen and I got freed and left from there, and my mission was completed, and I returned to my main mission, and that mission was to repel the Atlantean invaders who were entering Canada. I was with the Avengers Tempest team, in which Scarlet Witch was the leader and Hercules was there. Then we see that in Canada, Team Gonda is fighting with Atlantis and all the superheroes, knowing about Atlantis' weakness, even fighting with our previous friend Dog Soldier and Superman, and never stopping to save until the last superhero was one of our saviors, the actual people in the water of Lebanon, break their helmets and defeat them. And in another way, in China, Avengers temporary team Gamma is formed, which is led by Captain Marvel and Vision. Quicksilver, Black Widow Serial is with them. Their mission is to infiltrate underground. Stopping, we see that Team Marvel has been surrounded by De Villiers. And on this, the Serial tells Captain Marvel that this is not good at all. People have trapped their village under the ground, and they are more in number than us. And seeing this, he seems happier than us. On this, Kaif tells Vrihad that if he can bring me down, then he has got the right to beat me. But I have read something about difference in sentence files, and that I am going to try. Then Captain Marvel says to David, who is the leader of this gang, whoever he is, I name you. A coward hiding behind weapons and bodyguards, you are not fit to lead. Hearing this, Serial gets scared and says to Captain Marvel, she asks, what are you doing? To which Captain Marvel silences the city and says to Benefit, I challenge you, your leader in single combat and your army leadership, by your rules that determine who will be on the list. I challenge your champion for this. Hearing this, the leader of the Devils tells Captain Marvel that I am Dao Paz and a humorous lady. This leadership will be done by a woman, and humans will challenge the leadership. Critics will claim that this series is beautiful and throw this one from the top. But who is responsible for truly delivering the message of who's really credited? In response to this, Captain Marvel says to Different that, are you afraid of humans? And Dual Pass then, there is a whisper in their army, and the eyes of all the army go towards Plus. The people get ready for the fight and say that you will fight our champion, and if you lose, then you will become our slave. Hearing this, Vision says to Captain Marvel, have you thought about it? Right? She says, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm just asking if you do it because you think it's the best way. You're still upset about the Scarlet Centurion and trying to escape your own thoughts. Captain Marvel says that it doesn't matter much, and I am going to expose this Joe Care anyway, and we are all going home. Then their champions come out from among those De Villiers, and Captain Marvel that I'm here, lady. My name is Guru, and I'm a champion of developers. Let's start spreading, Captain Marvel says, looking at the clock. This is very good. It is 9 feet long, and it doesn't look as easy as we thought. And on the other side in Siberia, the Gamma team of Avengers, which is being completed quickly, in which Thor, Black Knight, Fireworks, and Silver were there, whose mission was to kill radioactivity. But when the Avengers investigate due to the recent radioactive explosion of Presence left Lady, they find an overwhelming response from soldiers. All except Bulk Forward got converted into radioactive soldiers, and losing their mind control, all of them stood against Bulk Fighter, and while fighting, tells Fighter to continue the fight even if our minds are broken. Both Fighter and staff member are killed in the offensive. No one survives except Bulk Forward, though there are more enemies than us, but we will still win. To this, Fighter replies, I did not know. Then Thomas says that our fellow Avengers trust us, and we have to fight with full intelligence to bring them back. Then suddenly, a radioactive substance appears. Silver punches Thor with his full speed, on which Thor says that the cost of silver has increased and his touch burns, saying as Thor wipes the blood from his face and takes attacks from his senior and says, "Mighty will take the weight away from you for a while, then Fiber will add bulk." Then we see Radioactive attacking Captain America with his shield at the base and saying to Captain America, "Oath of the World Tree, Chapter America, fight this and leave it to your will and be free from it, and I will save myself from Captain's mob." He caught it with his hands, and the force of the shed was so much that blood was flowing from Toke's grip. Then Prince speaks through Captain America. "So that means you will go, and through Collect Mike you became Prince's slave." Seeing this Fiber thought tells you, you have to forget the app, Thor. Stop trying to wake him up. His body and mind are dead. You are not understanding. He is dead. Then he gets angry and says, "I will never forget him," and grabs the captain by the neck and takes him out of his meter. While swinging the phone, he says, "The flying wind, the floating clouds, the storm of the earth and sky, Gotham the thunder commands you all. Whatever happened today is completely wrong. I had accepted long ago that the people with whom I was walking, he died before me. His life was as short as the afternoon of most men. But Captain America is more than just a man. He's the greatest of his people. Well, he is the best in mankind and deserves better." Now, Sylvie, your episode is on the horizon for a great way to wrap up the series. Seeing such a fierce anger, the Fort gets scared and using all his power says that he is not a man but a hero and he shouldn't have died like this. He himself was killed by an attack, could not save him, and became a mindless slave. This was not a man. He deserved more than that. He was better, and with my hammer he was against the Democrats' base that is roaming around your bed. Congress is watching this effort from all over the world and he's well and truly happy to see this. So my sword is finally for real, and he knows for sure that these bastards are in the world, and he's well and truly happy to see this. Superhero on his screen looking like this, Kane says. And it starts like this. "Some familiar dance, some stiff, and they're at each other's throats, and it doesn't matter. Whether they fight for my favor or for themselves or to grab power or simply out of fear and terror, it is my bidding. It is all one thing. I wanted, then Marcus, son of Cain, tells the gang, my father was one of them. Everyone's first group has arrived. Thanks for this. Very good, Marcus. Did those people oppose the public officials?" Ondas, Marcus says, "I handled it easily." Then there is Kane. "I would not expect any shortage, and I am there quickly." Then we see that all the people of the supervillain team to whom Kane had sent the call are in front of him. The gang is with all those people. He says that we had sent a call for recruitment and you all are the answer to that. Then why one of them points his finger at the villain and says, "Tell me what is required to make a place in my army." Hearing this, the villain says, "Send that place to me quickly." The villain says, "Call up Black O'Brien." "And you all are the answer to that, please." The villain says, "Fail. I have spent 6 years in the Australian Army training and have also trained private soldiers." By the time Milan was about to finish his sentence, Will Wynn comes in front of Kent using his power and beats him with the knife. He says, "I am Print and I do not wait in line behind useless losers. I have more power than these jokers in the bank. I think I am what you are looking at. At least I should get class treatment. Don't understand by looking at it." He tells him that I have an assignment for you. You will go back, but after saying this, he teleports him to Earth using Can-Be time change and says, "Do they already have power?" And Kane will not send something like this then. "Tell me, where were we?" And at the same time in China, Captain Marvel is fighting with the champion of 2+ for leadership. Then he tells Captain Marvel that you fly very well. "Hey, human lady, do you want to fight?" On this, Captain Marvel says, "I am just waiting for the right moment, Willem, but now that you have asked, Kryptonos." These people say this. And then Captain Marvel does a phone blast attack, which has no effect on the people. It does not happen. I live in the village. I cannot harm you people in any way. I do not have any teeth or any body parts left. I give shape to my chin, but you will still feel the right to the room. Saying this to clock Captain Marvel. He holds on tightly, and on the other side, he is fighting with a large number of radioactive soldiers in Siberia, and while fighting, he goes to the prince and stays with Praveen. So you have a personal account, and now you experience the anger of others. And by saying this for 10 minutes, a bell strikes, and the superhero lands in front of the president, telling the prince that Thor will speak to his master upon hearing this. Presence says that Thor, you have a great power, you pretend to be God, but I am Presence and I am the power myself. If you cannot change, then you will have to die. And saying this, Presence attacks, and with his video, Prince locks the power of the Thor and says, "I don't believe the Presence, I am Thor, and you will face my justice." In the middle of the fight between Thor and Present, the winds surround them from all sides, as if a wall was built, and he was with his prince's power, and Thor sees the Raven protecting the prince and allows the Raven to escape. Thor backs off from it, and he sends the Raven with him so that his presence can build. And with his virtue of a Raven, protecting the winds sends the wind to the prince's power. starts to accrue from the hammer. How is the present from Starlight? It is working. Don't worry, I will load it soon. He angrily tells the present to do his work. Villain, you misused your power. Mandel loves to waste the world with villain eyes. I just watched my reaction and was impressed that Mandel did not react in the script, and you will not be able to use more than me. Then Prince faces his enemies that he cannot shut down his power plant, and it goes to my power. What are you doing? And how can Prince's power be used anymore? While doing this, he says, now bulk judgment has started. Creature, you are you are the cause of the death of a person whom you will never know, and you are ready to execute your crime by putting your life at stake. But Prime is not answering, and he really couldn't answer. And on the other hand, Antagonist and Captain Marvel, in the fight, the villagers completely entangle Captain Marvel and tells Captain Marvel that there is no difference between the human lady and Captain Marvel tries to get out, but it is like floating in mud, thick, hot, strong, and it covers her completely, and the darkness around Captain Marvel increases. Captain Marvel's energy now feels like it is coming closer to her with the power to do so. Slowly, with pain, Captain Marvel moves towards her, and she sees that the minds of the people are turning to pieces, which turns dark red due to lack of oxygen. And outside, Black Widow and Vision are getting worried about this situation, and inside, Captain Marvel grabs the Globe's brain and destroys it, which was his brain and his hand. He comes out, leaving behind only a single digit in wheat. After defeating the goals, she says what must happen now is surrender to Siberia and take full control of Jaina. By tapping the power, he says, so you are feeling this last spark of power that will tear your life apart in protest against the life you have lived so cruelly. Then Starlight cries to A. Thomas and says, please don't kill him. I am his power, and with my power, I can take out your companions and restore them again like Prince did with his son. Then he asks Starlight, can you do this? Shamlat says, yes, I think so. Hearing this, he says, then you will restore all the Winter cards, scientists, and all the people. He goes to Vinegar and says this seems like a deal. He asks Torchlight, why did you save Light from this monster? To which Starlight says that this was a dream of one of the world. Not mine, but his. I can reverse its effects, and if this power spreads completely, then I will be left alone. Hearing this, Thomas says, you can make yourself better this way. Yes, maybe, Stargirl says, and some of her after some time. Russian arthritis advances forward. Doctors, soldiers treat all survivals. Prince is sent to jail along with him. Starlight also goes to jail with him. And on the other hand, De Villiers also surrendered in China. Philippius learned of the invasion, and Starlight tried to escape through the space between worlds, but the line was crossed in China, and if it wasn't too late, his life was never the same again. That's why if it wasn't too late, his life is not the same as the one at home. Seeing this, the serial says, very good, it seems as if he is gone forever. Then Captain Marvel says, then it would be good to be the Silvercloak King. No, just relax. Then at the same time, Voss gets a message from Captain Marvel, and she calls her whole team to the base. She tells Kadimar that we are finding out what we will do to De Villiers. I think there was a fight between De Villiers and Conda. There is a political connection. Maybe we will get some information from there. Then at the same time, Vasco team also gets a call from Beta Scarlet Witch, and looking at her dress and hair, they say, is that a bank? It was good to see the bank is fine. Vasco wonders what was the money problem. She says it was very complicated, but the important thing is that it's probably brand new. And she says, color on how things are. Everything looks fine, at least for now, Stringline. Thanks them for helping her in Lot and getting them back to Atlantis, forced to withdraw, and as far as I can tell, have headed back to the North Atlantic, and there is no sign of them in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Then she gets a message from the United Nations saying, sorry for the interruption, but can this situation require the Avenger to be urgently needed in Washington? To which she says, he will be fit, thanks Vanvis, and tells his secretary that he will come. And I hope he comes up with a way to eliminate the threat of cancer in a quick and clean way, because I will not have any difficulty in telling him that I do not like backup plans, you see, an army of sentinels that the government has created for the deep. And this number ends here. If you like Cancer Mix, then please subscribe to the channel and like the video. So like the video, I will meet you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.